of my background, I have been in marketing for 5 years now. I started off freelancing in social media, went to college for marketing, graduated, and then I actually ended up working at a startup agency here in Scottsdale. So I was working there for about 2 years, just helping the CEO and head of marketing kind of build the company. And after doing that for 2 years, I realized how passionate I was about it, and I started thinking to myself, hey, Kennedy, why are you working 80 hours a week building this person's company and getting super passionate about it when you could be building your own, which is something I had always wanted to do. So here we are building the agency. We're a small team. Shout out to Jessie in the back. She is our amazing videographer and photographer. She's amazing. But yeah, so we kind of work with clients all over the place. We don't really have a specific niche or anything. I say if you're a service, if you offer services, we'll work with you. Our goal is just to get people more organic leads and help them close those leads, refine their client acquisition process to make more money, because who doesn't like more money? So today, obviously, we're going to be chatting about SEO. How many people know what SEO is? Or have at least heard of it before? Cool, okay. That's great, because a lot of the people don't really know what it is. But to kind of kick things off, I honestly say SEO is kind of more like a mindset. So what I always say is you want to be genuinely the best person to answer what your customer is searching for. So this really comes into play with Google, Bing, and of course now we have AI, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude. Everyone is asking prompt-based questions to these AI platforms, and that definitely has a lot to do with SEO now, which is why it's important that we focus on it, talk about it. So that's kind of the mindset that you want to be in, is you want to be in your customer's shoes, and it's like, what are they asking Google, and how can I come up for that? So, with that being said, there are 5 main things that I like to focus on with SEO. The first one being Google Business Profile, second one being Google Reviews. I know it sounds super simple, okay, it's just a review, but there's actually a lot more to it than that. Third thing being keywords. Has anyone ever heard the term keyword? Okay, Jessie, videographer, interesting. And then the fourth thing being your website structure, how it's built, how it's laid out. And then the fifth thing just being optimized content on your website and on your Google Business Profile. So these are things we're kind of going to be diving into today. Please feel free, there's not a lot of you here, so feel free to just raise your hand if you have questions, and we can just kind of stop and chat. So first things first, Google Business Profile. I'm sure everyone has seen, or maybe for your own business, you have a Google Business Profile. This is what we want to be focusing on mainly. I would say this is definitely going to be the main traffic driver for your business. A lot of our clients we work with that are service-based, the majority of their website traffic is coming from Google Business Profile. And the reason I want to talk about it and talk about it first is because it is such an easy thing to do, to fill out, and a lot of people just don't do it. I don't know why entirely, maybe it's intimidating, but there's a couple core things that you want to make sure you have. So I'm going to be going through a good example and a bad example, and I hope the businesses I'm using, no one in the room is associated with, because that would be really awkward. So, first one we have is the Perfect Secret Med Spa. Anyone associated with them in here? Perfect. So, this is actually a really good example of a Google Business Profile. So as you can see here, they have a lot of photos and videos. So we always recommend, constantly updating that every week if you can, even if it's just one new photo or video. Second biggest call out here is they have all of their services listed. So if you're a service-based business, we want to make sure that you have all those services there. And then as you can see here, they have a lot of reviews, which is great. And then if we want to dissect this a little bit, so here is our Google Business Profile live in action. Another thing I want to call out here, has anyone heard of the update section of Google Business Profile? Okay, so it is a newer thing. So down here, you can actually add blog posts, social media posts to this section. And that basically just tells Google like, hey, we're an authoritative business. We're constantly updating our profile, which is great. So as you can see, this person used it with social, which is perfect. For a lot of our clients, we do blog posts and we'll link those. So that's definitely a section that you want to have and that you want to fill out if you are, building out your Google business profile. And then one other call out is their reviews. So as you can see here, if we look at their reviews, one of the biggest things that I see businesses do that I think they're kind of missing out on is when you are asking people to leave reviews, instead of just being like, hey, can you leave us a Google review? You have to kind of prompt them. I always say you're never gonna get what you want unless you ask for it. So if you tell them, hey, can you leave a review for, like, example, for a med spa? Can you leave us a review about the treatment, how your provider was, and what your experience was like? So here we can say, I had a great experience with Irena, that's great. Scheduling was easy, blah, blah, blah. So it's just a little bit more in depth, as opposed to someone just being like, hey, the perfect med spa is great. It's like, okay, that doesn't do anything, that doesn't tell Google anything. And then to kind of look at an example of a not so great Google business profile, it's still great by any means. Do I have anyone associated with Hush Med Spa?
Just kidding.
Perfect. So this Google business profile, it still exists, which is great. It's like, if you can get on Google business profile, that's wonderful. But as you can see here, they don't have any of their services listed out. So that's something that they're kind of losing out on. And then they are also not really utilizing the post section. So, they could be posting social media posts, they could be doing blogs, tying that in there. I did look at their website and they do actually have blogs on there. So the fact that they're not posting them on here, that's just a missed opportunity in my opinion. Because the other thing is the way Google works is query based. So if I'm Googling, best microneedling treatments in Scottsdale, and I have a blog on my Google business profile highlighting that, my profile is more likely to come up than, Hush Med Spa, for example. So definitely missing the ball on that part, but so those are kind of like the main points that we want to be filling out on Google business profile. Does anyone have any questions on that? What's up?
Just as a consumer, because my customers aren't individuals.
Okay.
So I probably would use this. However, I saw on your example, you had a number of sponsored items. And I'm just curious if with a sponsorship, how do you know it's not ghost reviews and things like, how do you vet?
Yeah, so the sponsored section actually just means it's a Google ad. So that means that they're basically paying for placement. So that would be, yeah, so the sponsored, I can kind of show you guys here, the sponsored ones are always going to be first because they're paying money to Google. So yeah, like these right here where it says sponsored, that means that they're bidding on this keyword, med spa in Scottsdale, which yeah, that would be Google ads, paid advertising. So, with SEO, the goal is to kind of be the first one to come up under that. So like this one, for example, skin results. That means that they probably have a very robust profile. But yeah, sponsored things, that's definitely something you can look into if you have the budget. But like I said, a lot of the times the smaller businesses, they just don't have, thousands of dollars to go throw at Google ads. But I mean, if you are a company and you don't necessarily have like customers that would be reviewing, I would say try to use all the other aspects that you can. So, the blog posts, the service section, filling that out, what services do you offer, and then if you can get reviews, even if it's like if you're working with other businesses, having them, talk about like maybe your company or anything, that would be great too. What's your industry that you work in?
Mine's biotech, so I'm kind of in a niche.
Yeah,
but still, yeah.
Let's chat after, because I'm curious to dive into that and kind of see like what other people are doing. Yeah.
On the blogs or the social media, how do you, can you automatically link those posts? to Google reviews,
Yes,
or are you going to show us how that's done?
Yeah, let me show you guys an example. So let's just take a roofing company, for example. So this is where you'll add those blog posts. You'll click on add update, and then you can schedule it out. So you could, for example, go put in like 10 different blog posts and schedule them out. That way you don't have to go manually post them all the time. But basically you'll just put in the image, you'll put in like a little, blurb of the blog post, so not the whole thing. And then you're gonna click this button down here. And then I always just do learn more, and then you put the blog link right there, and then that links directly to your website. Does that make sense? Or does that answer your question?
I'll figure it out.
Okay, we can chat after too. I think, if I'm mistaken, so you were wondering if you could link it directly to your website.
Well, either my website, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever it might be, rather than doing things 3 times over again.
Yeah, there is probably a solution for that. I would assume, like, whether that be like something like Zapier maybe, something along those lines, like a software like that. Where you
Can you go back just for a sec? Sorry, I had my head down.
No worries.
So I was going to drop my coffee, but where did you enter that?
So if you're logged into your profile,
Yeah.
you're just scroll down here on the right. It's kind of far down here. And then it's right where it says add update.
Got it.
And then this is where, like we saw in the med spa, you can add the social post, you can add a blog, you can even add, like, if you're having promotions or discounts or sales. It's pretty flexible. So that is just kind of an example of, a fully optimized profile versus a not fully optimized profile. And then in terms of action items for you guys, if you are business owners or do have your hands in the Google Business Profile side of things, for an action item for you that you could do in literally like 2 minutes, I would say go out in your services, go out in the updates, tie in any blog posts, tie in any social posts, even if it's like LinkedIn or something. That's something you could utilize, and it is very quick to do. So next topic is Google reviews. So this is kind of what I was touching on earlier. We want to make sure to prompt people to leave a thorough review rather than just like, oh, Stacy was great. It's like, okay, who's Stacy? Why does Stacy matter? So this is an example of a really great review. I had a lymphatic facial lift with Ariana. This business more than likely is kind of prompting their customers with a prompt like this because, most people don't naturally go leave a review like this just because we're not thinking like that. So I always say, focus on your reviews, focus on asking for what you want. And then what you can do with that, I always recommend getting a flow set up. So it could be, automated text message flow, automated email. But basically, the trigger would be, the customer completes the purchase or they complete the service, and then immediately they would get an email or text message being like, hey, if you really enjoyed your treatment, and can you please explain a little bit about what you enjoyed, who you worked with, and then we can actually give them a link that links directly to the Google Business Profile. So all they have to do is just click on it, and it's super quick, super easy. It depends on the industry, like what the time delay is of sending that automatic notification. Like, for example, if let's just use a sunscreen company, I buy a sunscreen, immediately I want to get that text or email being like, thanks for buying, leave us a review when you can. Or if you're more of a service-based business, you could do like a day, 2 days. I wouldn't necessarily do it immediately. But the main goal with this is just to get people the link to leave the review. Because if you do it manually, you can, and it's easy to forget, like, oh, we had 50 patients today or 50 clients, like, we need to go send them the Google review link for every single person. So if you have it set up in an automated flow, that just makes it a lot easier. Has anyone kind of got something like this from like a service or product? Okay, perfect. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And then to get this little link, it's very easy. So if we're in the Google Business Profile, so let's say you're logged in, we're using a roofing company, for example. you'll just go to ask for reviews, and then this is the link that you can put in that automated flow. So all they'll do is click on it, and then it'll take them directly to your page to leave a review. So super simple. I've even seen people like put that on QR codes to put on a company truck or something. So it's just, we want to make it as easy as possible for customers, because the nature of people is people are lazy, and that's okay. So we want to cater to that.
Would you agree that not all reviews have to be 5-star? And that's, well, I don't want to give you the answer.
No, I would say, yeah, they don't necessarily all have to be 5-star. More likely than not, they're not going to all be 5-star reviews. But, the more good reviews you have, the better. So, like, Google would more than likely optimize or recommend a profile with more 5-star reviews than someone with more, like, 3-star reviews, for example.
Just a bit of a, I don't disagree, just a bit of a CX research. Authenticity from a customer experience perspective is the number one driver.
That's, yeah, no, definitely.
So 100%. This is your program, so.
No, I love that. I'm like,
be very careful of filtering out
Yeah.
the authenticity of your
Well, you
experience.
can't really filter it out, can you?
You-
Like you just,
I
if
mean,
somebody
I
leaves
think-
you a bad review, you have a bad review now.
Yeah,
Or a
correct.
competitor hires people to leave you bad reviews,
Yeah.
Exactly. It's,
which has happened.
Yeah.
people can ghost the system. Anyway,
I know there's also, I don't know, my friend actually built this flow, I'm pretty sure, but he built something where, like, if a customer does leave a bad review, they get directed to, like, send the company an email instead, and it's like, hey, how can we, what happened? Like, contact us, talk to us first before you go leave the review, just to kind of filter out, like, people who maybe were, like, pissed off at, like, I don't know, their service provider or something, like, personal stuff. So that's kind of the way you could filter it out, but yeah, I think authenticity is huge, and then I think too, like, that prompt kind of asking people to leave, like, more in-depth, more authentic reviews, that's definitely a big part as well. But continuing on, so our lovely word keyword here that nobody has really heard of. A keyword is basically anything that someone is Googling to find your business. So, for example, if we're using a med spa company, a keyword could be med spa in Scottsdale, Arizona, or if they're looking for a specific treatment, it could be microneedling treatments in Arizona. So that is what we want to focus on when we're building out the website, when we're optimizing the Google Business Profile. We want to put our head in the consumer mindset, and it's like, what are people searching for? So a couple ways to find them for free without paying for, like, big fancy marketing software technologies. Literally just Google search. If you go into Google search, for example, like our med spa example, and start typing in, like, microneedling treatments in Scottsdale, you'll be able to see, like, what's coming up. If it's, like, home pages of med spas, maybe it's, like, a blog page. And then when you scroll down, have you ever seen on Google where it's, like, additional things, and it's like people are also searching for, and then it's, like, all of those. So that's a big kind of clue for us from Google about what we should be targeting. So that's definitely a free resource that we have. If you're ever feeling investigated, you can just pop into Google, kind of search away, see what people are looking for. Answer the Public is a free website. They give you 3 free searches a day. So you can put in any keyword, for example, med spa Scottsdale, and then it will give you, shifting from, like, AI to the search engines, different keywords that people are searching for in relation to that. I know this is really tiny, no one can probably actually read that, but these are just a bunch of, like, med spa related keywords that I picked up that also have a high volume. So that's something that's really easy to use, and then also just doing competitor research. Googling people in your industry. It's like, what are they doing? How are their websites optimized? That's, free 99, so we love that. In terms of keywords, the way we always want to structure it and why we have, med spa Scottsdale, for example, we want to focus on the service and then the city in your state. So if we're in, like, Denver, let's say, if we were a med spa in Denver, we would say, you know, like microneedling treatment in Denver, Colorado. So we want to make sure we're targeting the specific city and state, because if we're not, then we're just kind of living out on Google, and Google doesn't understand that we're in Denver or that we're in Scottsdale. So we always want to make sure and have that on there. Does anyone have any questions on keywords? Okay. So this is that section I was mentioning about, you know, what people are also searching for. So this is after I typed in med spa in Scottsdale. So these are things that people are also searching for in relation to that. So like, how much does microneedling cost, average price of microneedling. So these are things that we need to take into consideration when building out a website, creating blog posts, even like asking people to leave reviews. Super helpful information. So in terms of a free action item, that is pretty quick and easy. So I would recommend picking your guys' top 3 services or products, giving them a Google in your local area, and then just seeing what comes up, because in the end, it's really all about research and seeing what Google wants to see, or seeing what's trending with Google and how people are coming up for that in your industry. Now on to the fun stuff. So website structure is very important, and you do not have to be a developer to implement these things or do research for these things. Basically, we want to make sure that when Google is, we say, crawling your website, going through your website pages, we want to make sure it can read it. So I kind of think of it like a bracket. So it's like it starts at the top, it's crawling down your website page. The way you have it set up is going to either make or break if Google can do that. So obviously, we want Google to be able to do that. So a couple things to take into consideration: title tags, mobile speed, do you have service pages if you're a service-based business, and then headings. Has anyone heard of title tags or headings? Okay, awesome. Lovely. You guys are smart. I like it. So yeah, just to kind of quickly break it down, title tag is just going to be, I guess you could use it up there where it says med spas in Scottsdale. That's the area that it'll be located in. So for example, on this, image right here, that is going to be the title tag, and then this is going to be your H1. So with our website pages, we want to always make sure and have the H1 the very first thing on the page. And then as you go down the page, it should flow in a format where it's like H1, H2, H3, and so on. We only want to ever have one H1 tag because that's basically just the main title. A lot of things I see with clients we work with is whoever built their website, they'll have like maybe 5 H1s on one website page because it just looks pretty, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it looks nice and pretty, but like Google is not going to be able to read your website page because of that, and then you lose. So it's like cute, it's pretty, but now you're losing. It's work too. So that's something that's really important. Website speed, so mobile speed, that's going to be really important as well. There is a free website speed checker on Google, which I will link for you guys. But basically, you'll just put in your website URL, and Google will run through your website, and it'll say like, hey, did you know that your website takes 11 seconds to load on mobile? And it's like, okay, that's bad, right? So we want to figure out why. A lot of the times it's images, so people will have like a super big high resolution image on their homepage, and it takes a long time to load for other people, but they don't realize it because their website is cached in their browser, so they're like, oh no, it just pops up for me. It's like, yeah, because you visit your website like 50 times a day. So want to make sure and get that taken care of. And then also service pages, how many of you in here are like service-based and don't necessarily have a product? Okay, so a lot of people. So yeah, we want to make sure that we have a page for every service. A lot of the things that I see when working with people, business owners, they'll just have like a service page, and it's like our services, and then everything is listed out on one page. So you can do that. I wouldn't recommend it. Working in marketing, I love what this person did here. So this is a oral surgeon. So they have like, hey, yeah, we do oral surgery, but we also do all of these different types of services under that branch. So if you do this, we're able now to go take those keywords that people are searching for and optimize every single page for those keywords. So that's kind of the intent of it. I think of it like, if you're in the ocean, you have a big fishing net. The bigger the net you cast, the more fish you're gonna catch. So the more pages we have with more keywords, then we're able to capture more people who are searching for those specific things. So as many pages as you can get for as many services you have, even if you have like our roofer client, for example, they do roofing. It's like, okay, cool, but they also do tile roofing, metal roofing, shingle roofing. So kind of just highlighting all of those services, that's a huge benefit for your business. So in terms of an action item, you know, if you do have access to the back end of your website, just getting those keywords put into your pages, that can help Google kind of pick up on your industry. You know, definitely recommend that. And then changing your title tags on your website, that's a huge thing as well. So just making the keyword the actual title tag, that's gonna be super helpful. Does anyone have any questions on that before we move on? Okay. So next section is going to be blogging. So blogging, again, super useful form of marketing that I think a lot of people are just like, oh, that's cute, you blog. And it's like, no, like there's a reason. Shout out Nina. Nina is actually a blogging platform that Wes is running with for this exact reason, because it is so powerful for people who want to improve their website traffic. So when it comes to blogging, you know, we can actually take the search queries that people are looking for. Like for example, in the previous slide, the microneedling treatment. So we would just go and create a whole blog all about that. So that would tell Google like, hey, our website, our company has valuable information to offer for this thing that people are searching for. It's evergreen, you know, once you do it, it lives there, it's cool, you don't have to touch it. And if you use AI, obviously that makes it a lot quicker and easier. But we always recommend building it out with AI, you know, reading through it with your human eyes just to make sure that it is sounding like a human. So again, these are just some search queries that we could quite literally turn into blogs within like, gosh, 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe quicker. Like this one is a good one because I think this is very niche. So if someone were looking for that and you had a blog covering that, your blog is probably going to come up. And then within that blog, if you can have like an inquiry form on the blog, kind of driving people to get in touch with you, that's super helpful. So I'm a huge fan of blogs. I always say like, if you're just starting out, try to at least get one blog live a week, but obviously the more you do, the better. So I think like with Nina, you guys offer like what, 20 blogs a month, 40 blogs a month for clients?
Yeah, for my jewelry business, last May we started doing like 10 to 20 blogs a month, and our website took off. We were getting no appointments online last May, and I get at least 1 to 2 a week now.
Nice.
And people tell me that they're finding us on ChatGPT and Claude and Google because the blogs are picked up by all those LLMs as well.
Right, yeah, that's another huge thing with AI. So one of our service-based clinics, she's like a practitioner for neurofeedback. We're getting our highest traffic from search is AI. So we're getting a lot of people coming from ChatGPT who are searching about like anxiety, stress relieving, because that's the services that she offers. And because we're doing blogs kind of specifically targeting like anxiety, stress, that's how we're getting those appointments set and the leads. So definitely blogging is not something you want to skip out on. Again, it's super easy. You can just throw it into AI, you can have it give you something, and then just tweak it up a little bit and get that live on your website. And then bonus points if you go post it on Google Business Profile under the updates section. Does anyone have any questions for that section? Okay. So this is interesting. We'll see how this goes. If anyone wants to give me their business, we can pull up your website or your Google Business Profile and we can see how we can improve it if anyone is feeling like it.
I don't even think I don't even know who does have a Google Business.
Well,
But that
we'll
matters.
see. We'll see. What's
pull
the
up-
industry?
Waste management,
Oh, cool. Do you know what's the company name?
valley-wide waste solutions.
Let's see. Is it this one?
Yes,
Okay.
but it's not that Google page.
Oh, interesting.
Pull up, go ABP Insurance Brokers, Ken.
Where?
You want another one?
Here, wait. Is this?
No, that's not it.
Pull up, type in A, B,
B.
yeah, B, P. Insurance. That's my dad's company.
Insurance.
Company.
brokers.
No, company.
Oh. Company.
Yeah, on the right.
This one. Okay.
No, no, yeah, that's his website.
Okay.
This is my dad's. He does it all by himself, so be
Shout out
kind.
to Jesse's dad. Love this website. Well, to start off, we do have service pages, which is great. Super proud of him for having information there. So I think if we're looking at this, so okay, great. This is a common thing I see. So here's a service page. You know, we've got some good content on here, super helpful. Biggest thing I would call out is title tag. We can definitely optimize that. You know, when it comes to compliant, it's like, okay, what does that mean? Like what, I think we could get a little bit more of a niche keyword for that. So putting the keyword in the title tag, putting the keyword here in the H1, and then we also want to kind of sprinkle it throughout the website page. So this is, I mean, gosh, I know nothing about insurance. So, you know, when it comes to compliance, I would assume, let's see. So they're basically providing compliance solutions to people, is what I'm assuming. I don't know if you know. But yeah, I mean, that, how it looks right now is great. And then I think just optimizing that information. We can also add what's called alt attributions to images. So all these images, we can basically put on top of the image the keyword as well. So if people Google search and then go to images, that image will pop up, and if they click on it, it comes right to this page. But that's pretty cool that he's got some services here. That's also great that he's got reviews on his page. Also, another big thing for service providers, adding your address to the footer. So down here, adding your address, just adding like a privacy policy, especially for an insurance company, that would be huge. That basically signals to Google that you're a trusted company, and because you have that privacy policy page and you're protecting people's data and explaining how to use their data on their website.
He's a typo right there too.
Oh, no way.
Come on,
Don't
Dad.
tell him
Yeah,
that.
come
Well,
on,
actually, I
Dad.
probably should tell him that, actually.
Dad.
But yeah, so then here we have, you know, H1 here, and then we have text underneath, so we could probably sprinkle in the keyword right under here. Since these are all the things they offer, I would even build out service pages for all of these. So like they have the compliance, employee, maybe they do. Okay, yeah, so it looks like they've got the service pages, so then just putting them up here in the drop down, that would be super helpful. And then yeah, just optimizing all of these product pages as well. So for example, employee benefits, like a good keyword would probably be, just off the top of my head, like employee benefits program in Phoenix, Arizona or something, because that's more what people are searching for. But yeah, tell your dad he's doing a great job.
Gonna do a product business?
Yeah, sure.
Quantum Carrot?
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
let's do it.
Let's go.
That sounds a little
You
familiar.
have to remind me.
Is that your business?
My
Yeah.
jewelry business,
Oh,
yeah.
nice name.
Is it like, is that how you
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay.
Which is great because we're gonna change the name to Quantum Jewelers because nobody would guess that there's a Q in carrot.
Yeah, they just spelled carrot.
Oh my gosh.
So let's take a look at your Google
Yeah.
business profile. Okay, love
You
that
just
you
sold to a
have
farmer.
products. That's great. And then, yeah, I think for you guys, I know you post on Instagram, so maybe like linking your Instagram posts would be super beneficial. Or if you're more active on like LinkedIn, maybe that might be a little bit more relevant for you. So just coming in here, clicking add update, and then linking that info there.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, you got the products, which is great. I would even maybe do, how often are you guys putting photos on there? Or just kind of like whenever?
Most of those are actually from customers.
Oh, cool. So yeah, I I would maybe just try to like put photos on there, you know, even like once a week, just like
Okay.
throwing some up there. Or even if you have any like cool social media videos, like a reel or something, just saving that, throwing that up there. But you've got reviews, which is great. And then in terms of the website, this is pretty cool. Okay, so we've got engagement and wedding. We've got all these pages, which is great. I think in terms of, yeah, I mean, title tags, I would maybe,
Is it too much to have like the company and location there as well?
no, I always recommend having the company and the location if you can fit it, because that way if you're popping up on Google and people see your name, maybe like a friend told them about you or something, they're gonna have that trust built already. And then yeah, definitely wanna have the location. But I would maybe say, you know, I don't know too much about the diamond industry, but if you could find something like incorporating the word natural in there, like natural diamonds, like putting that in the title tag, just because it refines the search a little bit more and kind of helps you guys come up for that specific search term. Because, you know, when it comes to diamonds, I'm assuming people, they know what they want. They know if they want like natural or like real or whatever. And then in terms of like wedding bands, yeah, I think that's a great title tag, women's wedding bands, because that kind of just naturally sounds like, you know, something that someone would be searching. And then you've got the location in there, which is great. You've got your company, which is great. But yeah, I mean, I think you guys are doing a really good job. I would just say on the Google business profile, you could just start linking like LinkedIn, Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah, your blogs, like definitely throw the blogs up there. Yeah.
I just want to throw in a little, my 2 cents, my 2 carrots. I have a friend, I have a friend in the industry here in town, I'll tell you guys probably know each other. He does not disclose his physical address for security reasons. So that's just, I just want to put it out there. Like, I mean, he says that he's in Arizona,
Yeah,
but
that's
just
fair.
let you know.
We
I mean, it's a risk for Madeline and the
Yeah.
girls in front, not you.
We're going to
but-
be opening a retail store this year, so we have to disclose our address because we want people to come to our store.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
you're
Right?
having a retail, I didn't realize that. But
Well,
that was-
but we don't right now. So to your point, like where it is, but people still come and visit us here. And
Oh,
we
I
do
see.
appointments here.
Physically here?
Yeah.
You don't have like a briefcase and go to their house?
We do
With
that
the-
too.
yeah.
It depends where they are, but
Yeah.
a lot of people will come and visit us here. So we have our address on our Google profile. Somehow I couldn't believe this. I had a woman walk in off the street. She found her way all the way up into Kiln somehow, looking for
Through the
quantum
door.
carry because she found our Google profile.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
I know,
Which
but
is
we don't carry
customer.
inventory, so I was like, I can't really help you.
Oh, well, that's good.
Want to buy this?
One by
Right
one.
on.
Yeah.
That's
Cool. But yeah, I mean, you guys are doing great. Google business profile, definitely put the vlogs on there. Because I know you guys are doing
Yeah.
probably a lot right now.
Cool.
But yeah, quick plug to Nina. If you guys ever need blogging, they do a lot of blogs for companies. You know, I partner with them in terms of like if my clients need blogs, I always recommend their packages.
Oh.
Super great for SEO. But in terms of questions, I mean, if anyone has like questions for their specific business, yeah.
So you haven't talked about, I know this is an SEO program, but you haven't talked about AEO or GEO at all. And
Yeah, so
we know that-
for this workshop specifically, I kind of just wanted to focus on
Okay.
like super basics, just
Okay.
because I didn't know like everyone's comfortability, but that's also definitely something you want to take into consideration. But yeah, I mean, for this one, we're kind of just focusing on like 5 core, super basic stuff.
Fair.
From what I've found, if you have really strong SEO, you're going to do just fine with LLMs because all those LLMs, what they're doing is they're taking your prompt, determining a set of keywords, going and performing an online search. Granted, it's through a search API. It's not like they're going directly to Google, but they're performing those same keyword searches. So if we have SEO, that sets us up to appear when those keywords are searched, then we're going to appear in the LLMs as well. And I think a lot of people try and overcomplicate like GEO,
Yes.
but
Mhm.
it's not. Like
It's kind of all the same thing.
it is. And if you have good SEO, you're going to be just fine. They say like you should add the LLM's TXT file to your website. most SEO plugins do that automatically now anyway, and it's not really going to make a difference if you have your website set up like you were saying with the title tags and the
Right,
H1s.
just like the overall structure, yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's just the signals you want to be giving to Google, and it's like in doing traditional SEO and like setting everything up properly, that signals to like LLMs just as well as it signals to Google.
And I only say that because I found with our jewelry business, we focus solely on SEO, but now I have all kinds of people every single week telling me they find us on ChatGPT and Claude.
Yeah, that's definitely a big part, and you know, I think everyone tends to be using like the LLMs more now than Google. Like I know I personally, like when I'm on my phone, I'll literally go to Claude and I'll like search something as opposed to Google search, which is kind of silly.
Are you searching something or are you asking something?
I guess it would be, you know, I'm asking, like if I'm asking for like an opinion or like searching for something locally, I'll always just hop into Claude. Maybe that's just personal preference, or I also do that for like TikTok now and Instagram. That's an entirely different thing, but definitely like SEO applies to social platforms as well. But I mean, yeah, when it comes to your website, just making sure everything is structured properly, that's a super easy thing to do. You know, you don't need a company to do that for you. My biggest thing is like, I work with clients because I want to help them, and it's like, you guys can go implement this on your own, do everything I said, you know, follow like the little action items you've got on the sheets, but in the end, what's going to make the biggest difference is consistency. So like consistently updating your pages, tracking how they're performing on Google, and then that's kind of where we come in as marketing partners, is just to make sure that we're keeping up with that consistency. Because you know, it's like there's trends. Like sometimes for our clients, like they'll be super up and we're getting a bunch of search traffic for this one specific keyword, and then the next month it's super down, and it's like, okay, why did that happen? Kind of looking at the trends, looking at the analytics, and then we'll go into that website page, tweak some things, choose a different keyword, and then that's kind of how we get it to go back up again. So definitely with SEO, consistency is key. It's definitely more of like a long haul service. I'm sure you guys have heard that, but they're not kidding when they say that. It's usually like 6 months you want to be really being consistent. If you're a newer website, you won't start to see like a lot of traffic and leads unless I would say you're about a year old, depending on your industry. Because again, with the industries, like med spas are super competitive, roofing companies, contractors, they're just very saturated markets. So if you're a newer company coming into the space, it's going to take a while. But you know, the positive side is it doesn't cost anything. So that's why I like to recommend that to people. You know, as business owners, it's just an extra little step you can do to just kind of get it taken care of. So that is pretty much it. If you guys want to connect with me, here's my LinkedIn, my Instagram. Yes.
A question.
What's up?
How important are the other directories like Yelp, Yellow Pages?
Yeah, those are super important too. So I always say like submit to Google Business Profile, Bing, Yelp, even though like, you know, Bing is kind of like, I always say submit there anyways, but yeah, Yelp, any kind of directory you can submit to, that's going to be super beneficial.
I saw you use SEMrush for like SEO research and stuff to like look at what keywords we should be targeting.
Yeah.
They offer this like directory management thing where they'll submit your information to like 100 different online
Yeah, so
directories.
that's definitely
But it's like
super
you have to
common.
pay every month. Like, is that worth it?
Yes, if you have the budget, I would recommend that. There's also a platform called Bright Local that does the exact same
Bright
thing.
Local?
Yeah, Bright Local. The only thing to be careful with that is I would just run all the directories it's going to submit your info to through like Claude or something, and just be like, hey, which of these apply to my industry? Because I know with Bright Local, they'll charge you per submission, per citation.
Okay.
So like I did it for a roofing client the other day, and literally like 60% of the directories it was about to submit to were like based in like Germany or like China, and I'm like, okay, you know, that's not applicable. So you just want to make sure that you're getting your info submitted to the right place. But yeah, that's super beneficial. I would recommend doing that for sure if it's within budget. But yeah, so I do offer, you know, free calls if you ever. Yes, Jesse.
How often should you update your information?
On Google Business Profile?
Yeah.
I would say every week. Like,
Okay.
be putting photos on there every week, be trying to get the blogs on there every week, an Instagram post. It's like, if you're already doing it for other platforms, it literally takes like 2 seconds to go throw it on Google Business Profile. And the more you can signal to Google, like, hey, I'm a relevant company, I'm constantly updating, like, that's such a green flag to Google. So, yeah, I would say weekly. But, yeah, if you guys ever want to just chat about marketing or anything SEO, that is a link to book a call with me. We can chat for 30 minutes. You know, I can kind of do like a quick audit, see how I can help you guys, whether it's SEO. You know, our agency, we also do social media, we do email, video production, content creation, all that good stuff. We just don't do ads, so I can help you in any area but ads. So, but yeah, thank you guys for coming out.